Alright, friends, we're gonna go run along this beach. Let's do it. Now it's about 5:20 in the morning, and we're at Zushi Beach, which is in Kanagawa, so it's like an hour south of Tokyo. It's very nice. I'm already not excited for this run. But luckily we don't have the sun on us yet, so we can work with that. But we'll have it on the way back. Our goal is to get to that rock way over there. Should take us about 30 minutes, climb up it and see Mount Fuji. It looks great today, though. So we'll do about 3 miles. It's so nice, so quiet. I definitely feel like I'm in a hurry, though. Typically, every run I start, there's always kind of this like ramp up of like, oh shoot, are we doing this? Are we capable of running today? Do we have the cardio? Do we have the strength? Are we just gonna collapse and fall over? So there's always a little bit of anxiety as I'm getting started. Actually, there's a really nice boardwalk here, so let's run the boardwalk. Tuck my knees up. I'm a little sore from yesterday. That's okay. Our kids were swimming in this area 2 days ago. Me and my wife got lit up by the sun. So yesterday, we took it easy. Didn't really do any swimming until the evening. We just literally hung around the Airbnb with all the kids. It was great. Nice family quality time. Alright. There's a whole bunch of surfers out this morning. This is a river. It's quite nice. Now, I don't have my GoPro today, so you get the shaky hand cam. But it should still be fun if you don't get too nauseous. It's getting hot. Oh, すみません。ありがとう。すみません。すみません。But there's all kinds of like cool restaurant bar things here. It's a really nice area. Now we're early in the season. It's only like early July, and the main tourist season hits late July, early August, for a season called Obon, which is when Japanese folks remember and celebrate their ancestors coming back from the dead. If you're looking for more of a North American cognate, like think of like Day of the Dead, or the De los Mortes, something like that. So, very similar. But it happens every early August, and everyone, well, not everyone, a large portion of people will travel back to their homeland, their hometown, so that they could be at the shrine where their family is. Got fried clam. Sorry about the reconnection, friends. Is my network not as stable out here as I thought? Gotta work on my form a little bit. Gotta kick farther behind me. Everything's a little creaky. But we get beach sounds, so that's a win. Always a win. Win to have beach. Lots of dog people out here. It's cute. I'm waving at you. So we're gonna try to get out to that big rock, climb that mountain, and see Mount Fuji. And that should be about 1.5 miles. That beer is still here. It's been 2 days. But get up that mountain, see the sights, run back before the sun lights me up. Should be a good time, I hope. But welcome to Japan, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Got the sand. We're in the work zone. Making it happen, little by little. Oh, it is hot. Ugh. Come on. Feels hotter than yesterday. Friends, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. It's encouraging. Here we go. Just keep running. Looks like some kind of art project. Interesting. Mount Fuji, here we come. It's just behind those rocks. Yeah. Keep pushing. It's a heck of a climb coming up. I ran through spider webs last time. It's terrible. But overall, pretty nice pace. I'll take it. I will say, overall, form and mobility, a little wonky today, really creaky, really crunchy in a couple areas, but we're coming off a back injury, so still figuring stuff out. That's okay. Let's walk for a second, let's breathe. So the sun's already up, killing us. Get a deadlift. Sore, hot. There's a water fountain we gotta get to, or we're not gonna make it. Fisher Steve over here is making it work. To a beautiful, endless Japanese boardwalk. It's great. Oh, I'm so tired. Hi, friends. Here, let me flip. Morning. Thanks for joining me for a jog. Welcome to the frenzy of my world. As I learn how to raise 4 kids in Japan, it's a hoot. We are near Kanagawa. This is Zushi Beach. So, about 1 hour south of Tokyo. Well, that's really nice. I'm just getting some morning cardio before my kids wake up. Get my body moving. We just finished a pretty massive move to Japan. Stretch my hips. So we're pretty massive move to stay in Japan. We moved 12 times in 1 year to get here. And we just moved a 13th time to stay, which is pretty wild, honestly. And we're just getting settled in, enjoying the ride, as they say. So, hope you all enjoy the run. It's funny, it seems like I gotta be on this road a lot longer than I want to be to get to Mount Fuji, but no time like the present. Let's hit a deadlift. Swing it up, tuck my core, lean forward. And let's do nice choppy feet, nice and mellow. Run it at a Joe pace. Not an elite half marathon pace, whatever the heck that guy was doing, oh my god. And let's just trottle along, see how this works out. Should be a good time. Hate running. I wouldn't even classify it as a love-hate. It is just overall general disdain for running. It's not a good time. But my motto is running. It's fun when it's done. So I'm a check the box kind of guy. Growing up, that skill set was unleashed on a video game called Crash Bandicoot. For all you Nintendo folks, it's better than Mario. Okay? It's like, people say it was like PlayStation's answer to Super Mario. Although I think Mario 360 or whatever, I think they were developed in parallel though. Forgot. The release dates just got overlapped. But anyway, I grew up on that game, and what's nice is like there's a rhythm to it. There's 5 levels. There are like 5. There's 5 main platforms or warp rooms, whatever you want to call it. Each warp room has 5 levels. Each level has a crystal and a gem, sometimes a bonus gem. They show you on the outside of the warp room the gem or crystal that's missing that you need to collect. You go into the level, you get the gem or the crystal, and they show you a percent completion. And I mean, very early gamification tactics, right? Back in the 90s. But that was like an unlock for me. Like, I would just binge on that game because I knew exactly what I was working towards, what I needed to achieve. I knew that even if I couldn't see it or find it initially, there was something hidden in that level that I could get if I worked at it, if I explored, if I did unconventional things like jump on a couple nitro pads to find a hidden warp room. And it showed me progress. And seeing progress as you're doing something difficult, even if that difficult thing is fun, well, that's a huge motivator. So I need that in my daily life too. I need the ability to see and measure progress. And a lot of times we get stuck in intangibles. So, a great example, you want to get healthier. Oh gosh, that's such an intangible goal. Like, what do you mean? You want to lose weight, you want to gain strength, you want to gain mobility, you want to be able to play with your kids, you want to do a pull-up. There's so many ways to break down that goal. And the way we measure against that goal determines what kind of outcome we're going to see. Because if you want to gain strength and you want to lose weight, well, you can do both together. And some people do. Like, if you can focus on one, it gives you something easy to measure against. But as you're gaining strength and losing fat, which is weight, you're not net losing weight. So it's harder to measure. You lose motivation. So for me, I'm big on functional milestones. I'm like 300 pounds, 6'3". And for me, I found like long distance running is great because it gives me good functional milestones to chase as a big man. And I love strength and conditioning. Love's the wrong word. I hate my workouts, but I do them. But I always take notes on what weight I lift, how many reps, the difficulty, the speed I was lifting at. If you lift slower, it's harder, for instance. If you do pause reps, it's harder. So that way, each week I can measure progress and see that I'm actually getting somewhere in the journey with functional strength. In the beginning, I have some pretty bad spinal injuries. I've done not personal training, physical therapy for years. I did physical therapy on my back. I was getting epidural injections in my back. It was brutal, you know. So one of the first tangibles I was able to start measuring when I started working strength and core and stability the right way. I noticed weight loss wasn't one of the targets, but just strength, core, mobility. Whew. I was able to sleep through the night. I'm gonna walk up this hill. I wasn't going into the doctor every 2 weeks and getting an epidural shot for pain. I was able to start lifting with good, safe form, even doing like RDLs or Romanian deadlifts without a crunch in my back, as I figured out how to. That was huge for me. Sorry. This milestone is huge. Oh. You gotta learn what's important to you in your diverse journey and then get there. Because if your model is just like comparison to someone you see on Instagram with a build you want, sorry, probably not gonna happen. And they've worked for it, they've earned it. With probability that you're willing to work is different. Especially if they're full-time fitness folk. Let's go get some water over there. Then we'll climb to see Mount Fuji. They're full-timers. There's no hope for you. Oh no. Is he going to my water fountain? And it's not that it's not attainable for you, but some of those folks are working out multiple hours a day. You got 20 minutes between raising kids. Japanese water fountain. Ah! It's not the most flattering water fountain experience. It's kind of like waterboarding. It's just far too aggressive. I'm going to turn it the other way. Ugh. Let's walk down there and see the mountain. Then we got to walk back up. So, oops. Way out yonder. Sorry, it's going to ruin the distance. That's Mount Fuji. That's Enoshima Island, I think is how you say it. And that's a naked statue with butt cheeks, so we'll go check that out too. It's always fun. Japan's a little different with nudity. It's art, it's cool. But me and my family's gonna try to get out to that island because they have these like caves that apparently that whole island used to be underground, you know, because of volcanoes and stuff. And then the waves like carved out all these special caves, and then over time the island popped up out of the ground like a daisy. And so we're gonna try to take the kids out there. And then there's like a lookout tower where you can look out and see backside. I don't know what it means. If anyone can read that, go ahead and tell me. It'd be very helpful. Here we can practice our Japanese. De ta o So no. Kanji, 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 kanji. That's where I tap out. Oh, it's so hot. I don't know what it is. It's probably very important. But here's some cliffs. That looks like a good place to get trapped and die. It's so hot. I'm so tired. Good run though. 4 miles in. Not 4 miles in. 1.5 miles in. 1.5 to go to get back home. But yeah, we're gonna go out to this little tiny island, and there's a little tiny tower on top, and then Fuji's way back there. Now, if you want to see Mount Fuji for real, then I would suggest going to not Nankishirahama. Nankishirahama's great, but go out to Lake Yamanakako. It's like right at the base. It's amazing. I'm sweating more than I'm replenishing, so that means it's a sign to go get more water. Back out of that waterboarding thing. And then let's head back. And let's head back mellow. Just because form's not perfect today, and form's never perfect for me on a run. I have enough issues with my back and hips and all the other linkages. Spider webs, dang it. I have enough crap going on with my back and hips that running's always going to be a little shaky. I know how to run well. Dude, DGM, how's it going, friend? You want to see Mount Fuji? We're in Japan. We're running. We're about an hour south of Tokyo. Yeah, my form's never going to be perfect, but there's things I do to keep it in the safe zone. One of which is walking sometimes. All right, let me get some water. It is gorgeous. By the way, your little persona icon, super cute. A little kiss an anime thing. I don't know if that's an actual character or not, but Mount Fuji, you made it just in time, DGM. You're one of the last on the live to get to see it because we're gonna run away from it now. Gotta go back to the Airbnb. Yo, I got a like on this live? What? Y'all are too generous, too kind. And by the way, I'm just streaming off my phone, so if any of you like subscribe or join the channel or anything like that, join the big brain club because I'm an engineer, let me know, because I don't have any of those fun alerts when I do my in real life streams. But we ran about 1.5 miles to get out here. No problem. Oh, it is a real anime. Okay, cool. But yeah, it took us a little while to get here. And we're gonna do a mix of running and walking back, I think, just because I want to. What? I got 2 likes? This is crazy! Y'all are insane. So much kindness. Because if you like, it helps other people find the live, because we have to feed the almighty algorithm, right? Do you live there? Yes. So our family relocated 12 times over the course of 1 year to get to Japan. During like peak COVID. It was a hot mess. It's a long story. I tell it every once in a while on a live. And then I came out here to work for Johnson & Johnson on surgical robotics. So I'm an engineer, and I've done marketing and global leadership. So basically I would travel around Japan, connect with Japanese clinicians, understand kind of the nuance of their unmet needs, because it's different than a Western context like the US. And then I directed a team of global innovators to develop new technology on their behalf. Super cool job, but I was impacted by organizational restructure. So they were only offering me a return flight back to the US, and they changed the state to New Jersey. No shade on New Jersey, but it's far from family. Morning. And super far from family, like 14 hours away. I'm from Chicago. and it kind of negated everything my family had navigated to come to Japan and build a life here and get situated. So I was applying for a role in Japan through Johnson & Johnson. I actually applied to like 24 roles, but I got through 5 interviews on the Japan one. But based on timing, like I had to put in a contingent resignation that if I didn't get the job, I wouldn't stay with J&J, I would exit because my assignment was over. So I resigned. I didn't get the job. And I'm moving into personal consulting. So I'm gonna basically help engineers find their way, consult them on their journey. And then I'm also building a digital class on a platform called School, SKOOL, where I'm going to take everything I've learned over the last decade of engineering and global leadership within Johnson & Johnson and try to package it so that people can save literally years on their journey as innovators, because they could just quickly understand the way things actually work and are and move about it. I'm trying to get a job in aerospace engineering. That's exciting. In order to make arrows fly faster and farther with sharper tips, you know, most people think of the bow and arrow as an outdated technology, but I think it's magnificent. I'm just playing. I understand what you mean with aerospace. I think it's A-E-R-O, aero space. I don't know. I'm not a speller. I'll check it out. What? Dude, DJM, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have a link yet to the school. I should like put that, I should make it. I haven't made it yet. I've basically scripted like the whole first class is actually going to be called How to Say Goodbye. And it walks you through like 9 different modules to assess whether or not you should leave your job in order to move towards something different or better. Because as I've connected with a lot of people in my network within Johnson & Johnson and shared the risks we're navigating as a family to stay in Japan outside of the security blanket of Johnson & Johnson, people are like, there's no way I could have chosen that. And like I've gotten to this idea that like 99% of people would have took the offer J&J gave them to go back stateside. So like, how did I, as this 1%er, land on different judgment? And I think if you break it down into those 9 modules and certain principles, anyone could grow in their ability to have discernment in challenging, volatile political environments like I was in. It's just like a muscle you have to grow. And all of my experiences built up to being able to make that hard choice after 10 years to leave, which is so hard. Because I was imagining being like a lifer at J&J. I love Johnson & Johnson. But if I can capture that in a class, what's great is even if you're trying to get started in aerospace, knowing how to say goodbye from aerospace if there's a different technology you want to drift into later in your career, it just helps you navigate things well. Because you might be at Boeing. Boeing's a great company for aerospace engineers. Lockheed Martin's another one, right? Most of it's military or commercial airlines. You got SpaceX if you're actually trying to get out of the atmosphere, and a couple others. But each of these companies has different culture, different challenges associated with it, and knowing how to leave to the next is just as important as doing well where you're at, or at least that's what I've learned. It doesn't mean that you can't be a lifer and keep moving opportunities within a given company and being loyal, because I was loyal for 10 years. But companies actually do some pretty predatory is the wrong word. There are these things called golden handcuffs that you may experience, and it sounds good because there's gold in it, but it's basically like these little subtle shackles that get put on you over time as you progress in a career that retain you at a lower value than what you're worth, but it seems like difficult to break these. So like a great example, and I have a module on it that I've laid out. Like for me, a great example was parental leave. Right before having my first child with Johnson & Johnson, they increased their parental leave to 8 weeks, which at the time in industry was massive. All right, we're gonna jog and talk. I could do it. Let's get rolling. I'm out. Let's work here. But for me, that was massive as a father, like 8 full weeks to be with my family. And I knew I was going to have multiple kids. Ended up having 4, all while working at Johnson & Johnson. I mean, that's a total of 16, 32 weeks of time with family during those transitions. So valuable. So I wasn't willing to exit until I had stopped having kids. But then what happens is, like, I was finishing up my last round of parental leave, and there's all these situations converging towards making my family navigate a trauma-filled 13th move from Japan back to the US and uprooting all friendships and all stability we had built. Right? But because of the nature of golden handcuffs, things that look good, like I felt a responsibility, a loyalty to make an opportunity in J&J work. Like they just gave me 8 weeks off. I can't leave. Just got the perk. Right? Like we make these things feel contingent. I had to remind myself I had close friends working at Johnson & Johnson. They were impacted by another R&D restructure, so they're laid off. They were laid off like 2 weeks into their parental leave. Like, just had their first kid, laid off. Go find a job now. Enjoy your transition. So it's important to like recognize that even though there's all these great policies and wonderful values communicated within a business, at times there's people with souls within a business, but sometimes the business doesn't have a soul. Leaders are put in positions to make decisions that become morally ambiguous. Now they could argue, well, he got severance. We gave him 3 months to pay to go and find the next opportunity. But at the same time, like, you're destabilizing the family and career and locality when somebody's trying to start a life. But ethically, should you have laid off someone else on the team that was more qualified because they hadn't had a kid? Like, it's all just messy and broken. And that's just part of life. Like, it's all complicated. But anyway, I'm working on building a class to help people navigate things like that. So even as they're starting their journey, they can start to identify like, oh, this is a handcuff. Okay, I'll take it. But I'm not going to let it hold me forever. Right? It's tricky. And it's not like when you join a new company for your first job, or your second job or third job, that they're just going to outright come and say, hey, this is a golden handcuff we use for retention so that we can continue to pay you less and less over time compared to your actual true merit. They don't say that. Like, hey, we've noticed you're a really high performer and you're doing really great. You've taken a lot of time to learn these extra skills and you've really provided value. So we're going to let you keep striving forward, hoping for a promotion that we're actually just not going to give you because your boss can't stick their neck out for you in today's climate. Oh, okay. Stuff like that. Again, stuff where they can smile when they give it to you, and you can smile externally. On the inside, know, like, oh, that's what this is. Woo! Like, there were 2 seasons of life. Let's walk for a minute. This is good because talking about it helps me practice talking on the actual class. But there was 2 seasons of life where I was actively having more kids and actively trying to work more to get to a different level. We were single income. I plan to learn the basics of the main engineering in case I need to change. Or I need to find something I like more. But I'm going to NASA. Let's go, dude. And I think doing your class is going to help me find a balance. Hey, man, that's amazing. I just took a screenshot. So I got your comment. That we have, I don't have a funnel yet. Does that mean, do you know what a funnel is, like, for marketing? So right now I have no way to tell you when the class is available. I need to make like a waitlist document and send it to you. But there's a link in our in my channel's bio for Discord. So if you joined our Discord and DM'd me, then I could at least send you a link to a wait list so that I get your email, so that when I have a class, you can just decide if you want to do it or not. That would be so cool. Yeah, NASA's fantastic. I mean, NASA has a mixed reputation over time. They've had really successful things, and some people argue, why are we spending all this money on space when there's homelessness and other issues here? Always a fun debate. Thanks. What? You're gonna join Discord? That's amazing. My Discord game is weak right now. It needs some love. But I was, full-time at Johnson & Johnson, raising 4 kids in a global context, finishing a master's in global leadership, and a content creator. So I'm just proactively telling you the Discord's more complicated than it needs to be, and it's underutilized on the sub-channels. Don't bother with it yet. Like, just DM me. If you want to say hey in general chat, someone might say hey back. But that's the extent of our Discord right now. It'll be great someday. So, DGM, where are you based? Are you in the US? I just asked because NASA employs people from around the world, but they also have to navigate like security contracts and stuff because a lot of it's government. So I know there's process associated with it. I mean, I'm assuming you're probably in a green listed country. No name need for us to list off all the red list countries. Because who gets to decide that list anyway? It's complicated. Oh, you know what? I think, is this our path back to the fun sand walk? Let's do some beach walking. I'm still in school, but I'm planning to put most of my energy into going to NASA with getting less attention. They're going to a good aerospace. You're in Texas. Oh. All right, so I'm guessing you like Houston, right? Or not Houston. Is it Houston? There's one area of Texas. I've been there. I did a voice of customer research there. Actually, this isn't the path we want. We'll come back to the beach over there because it's got like a nice wooded path. I'm wearing shoes, so I don't like sand. But there's a really nice, it's got to be Houston. I think it's where they have all the space stuff, right? Houston, we have a problem. Yes, Houston. Figured it out. Sorry. But I went to Houston for market research once. That was fun. So basically, we were developing a surgical robotic platform. I think I could share this. Yeah. As long as I de-identify certain stuff, I can share it. It is Houston. Thank you. Like, we were building different surgical instruments to go on an undisclosed surgical platform. And some of our surgical technologies, do you hear the vagueality that I'm using? Once it launches, I can say anything. Well, I can't say anything, but once it launches, I can say more. But there are various surgical instruments that could accomplish different clinical jobs to enable a safe surgery. So some items, general terms, cut and seal. Again, I can't share because things will launch at different times. And I worked on some of the later launch items, so I can't share them. But anyway, these devices need to latch onto some kind of robotic architecture and then be removed once they're done, because most of them are disposable, some of them are reusable. And we wanted to understand in various safety situations if they could be successfully latched and unlatched within a certain amount of time intuitively, like that the iconography and the functionality of what we would call bailing out this tool was safe for clinicians. So we went down to Houston. We went to a couple places, but we did a lot of market research in Houston because there's a lot of medical R&D in that area. So a lot of the this lady and her dog, a lot of medical folk in Houston are familiar with working with R&D organizations because there's a big like medical research space. So we had a whole bunch of scrub techs and nurses. Scrub techs are still nurses technically. Circulating nurses come in and they like used our devices. I think a couple I don't think we didn't have surgeons on this one. I do interact with surgeons normally. But I remember there was one guy, like we'd have them come in, see the instrument cold, which means not giving them any like context. Just be like, we need you to remove this from the robot and see if they can figure it out. And then we would instruct them, we need you to remove it, see how much faster they do it, right? And then afterwards have a couple focus questions around this or any other one-off marketing questions R&D had. I'll let that truck pass. And we also say like, hey, this and this and this is kind of like our value prop. Like these are things we think are going to be valuable in the future. Jog ahead of the skin. But when we were going through that and explaining like, hey, what if we did this or what if it did that or blah blah. There's someone who had like extreme candor as a nurse. It was fantastic. And I normally don't swear on my lives, but we were trying to like share how important we thought this new expensive feature could be. And he was like, oh yeah, you just put in some engineering bullshit on it so you can charge more. Like he completely called it out. It was one of the first moments where I'd ever seen like a customer be given something marketing wants, and for marketing to be like, oh, that's not gonna work. like he completely called it, which was really, really cool for me because in the beginning, this is like one of my first times ever interacting with the customer as a creator. A lot of times in industries, especially as you start as an engineer, you're gonna have really limited proximity to the people that will actually use your product, which is terrible. It's a huge risk. But one of the challenges with that is depending on the complexity of what you're building, who the customer is, like it's hard to get proximity or it's expensive to get proximity. So for us, making surgical instruments, like attending surgery cases and connecting with clinicians, we normally have to pay them. And sometimes they make more than if they were in the surgery because we have to provide them an incentive. They're already making a lot of money. Now, we can go and see cases, but based on travel restrictions and costs, you could only see local cases where you're at. And it becomes harder to go out and really understand the global clinicians you're serving. You're making surgical devices for surgeons in India working in certain conditions versus Japan versus South Korea versus China and the US. Each of these contexts navigates your technology with nuance. And to understand that nuance at scale and have proximity to it as an entry-level engineer isn't going to happen without advances in technology. One second. So it's one of those things where, like, as you get started in aerospace, who's your customer, right? If it's NASA, who's your customer? The US government? Why are we trying to land something on Mars or wherever it is that you're making it? Like, customer-centric design becomes harder when it's kind of like this social, societal platform, right? This large mission we're trying to do. Now, if you're trying to make a faster jet engine for a fighter jet or something, you know, you're probably going to want to sit down with a lot of fighter pilots to understand. Probably want to do a lot of test flights with them and what they already have. You want to identify all the limitations, all the challenges, the areas where they need digital solutions in partnership with mechanical solutions. Do they need full autonomy, certain levels of autopilot, and like where that sweet spot is of like AI supported decision making and the autonomy and full skill of the pilot, right? Your maverick. So whenever you're making something as an engineer, because engineers make, it's kind of a loose generality, make, serve, protect, you want to understand who's ultimately receiving what you create. And then how do you augment what you make respectful of that. Like Bezos, I don't like quoting Bezos. Just because, like, I think, first of all, he's super successful, so sure, quoting super successful people's fine. But I've seen, like, on LinkedIn every, like, couple of weeks, someone's like, oh, Bezos says you need to have a 2-pizza meeting and a clean brief and a messy meeting. And it's like, well, that's how he runs his company. That doesn't work in every context. Everyone doesn't need to run their company exactly like him. Like every CEO has a lens towards something they care about, and they set the culture and the practices. Sure, you could try it. Anyway, one of Bezos' thing is, like, in every meeting, you should have an empty chair to remind you of the customer that's not present in the meeting. I actually like that. That's kind of cool. But also, someone might need that chair to sit down. So you're going to make someone stand on the outside of the table. But I guess based on the 2-pizza rule, there shouldn't be any extra people floating in. So I guess if you run the full Bezos system, you're perfect. Oh, that's fun. It's colored in there. Got a sun tint. We were swimming right over here the other day. It was nice. But anyway, DGM as I ramble about engineering and life. Nice to have a new friend from Houston, or at least Texas. If you're in Texas and willing to move to Houston, I hope that works out well for you. Yeah, let's go take the fun bridge. We could walk across a little sand for our friends. Oh, it's so hot. I got burned 2 days ago, but we stayed out of the sun the whole day. I'm so proud of our discernment with that. We did a night swim with our kids. We did try to, fish. We probably can't see the fish. We did try to feed our newborn some banana a little bit earlier than he was ready for it, because he took a couple bites and was fine. So kind of loaded him up as if he's like ready for meals. His digestive tract had like a full reject in both directions. He got super pale. I was really worried. We were going to the doctor. And he's fine. He slept and fed. He's good now. Thanks, of course, dude. It's so nice to meet you. it's really amazing how you can connect with people over technology. And if you look through my channel right now, there's not a lot that's actually helpful in your engineering journey. There's a couple things I'll point you to, just because the live will probably end in about 10 minutes, because I need water and a shower. But most of my content on the short form content is just sarcastic and fun, if you like that kind of stuff. So I've made, how many in the last 4 years? I made 1,600 short form pieces of content. And the majority of them are the Pretentious Engineer. The Pretentious Engineer is a comedic device using sarcasm, but it basically embodies like the toxic engineers I've crossed paths with that think they know more than they actually do. And so it's fun. It's a little bit self-defecating as well. Deprecating, not defecating. But just joined your Discord. What? Thank you so much, friend. That's amazing. I'm so glad I went live today and got to meet you. And so anyway, that content's just fun and derpy. You won't learn anything from it. I mean, sometimes you get lucky. But then if you go on kind of our main YouTube page, there's a section called One-on-One with the Pretentious Engineer. These are like longer form video blog podcasts I'm trying to curate on different topics, on global leadership and engineering. I think I've done 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember how many put out. I've written more, so I would write the blog and then read it. I didn't have a teleprompter though, so like I lose eye contact. It's not the most engaging content to watch. It's better to just listen to it because I'm learning. So you might get something out of that, but eventually the digital class, I'm going to try to do it really high quality so that there's no like fluff, if that makes sense. I mean, if I'm using a story to pull people in, I don't really see that as fluff. But I really want people to have specific, actionable things they can take and apply, and then engage with members of the class consistently. So it'll be like a membership-based thing, where you could, I'm going to charge it the same as Netflix, because I think every college student at this point in the world, they're either writing off their parents' family account, or some of them are like, I can make $12 a month work for that, or Spotify or whatever. So the idea is like, if you have financial limitations and you can't afford it, just quit Netflix for a month, learn what you need to learn, and quit my membership. Or if it's more valuable than Netflix, then keep it. Or keep both and make money, right? Those are like all the choices. So hopefully that'll be kind of helpful for you as things progress. Oh, it's such a nice beach day. But yeah, I'll say hi to you in the Discord after the live. And then once I make a wait list for the class, I'll forward it to you as well. And then you can tell all your friends, right? Like if what I make is helpful to you on your journey as you're learning and preparing for career, like it's a kindness to share it with other people that need it too. Because I didn't have really mentors. Does it get hot there? Yes, it gets out. It's ludicrously hot in Japan because of the humidity. So it's like 102 degrees today. Oh, you're from Texas. It's comparable to a bad Texas. We'll do a little mini cool down. Yeah, I'm good. I'll shower. All right, friend. Nice to meet you, DGM. Thanks for hanging out for like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. And good luck on your journey towards NASA. Happy to help. All right, see you on the next one.